This is crucial for the New York Jets as they made a controversial decision today that shows into some of their plans for this upcoming NFL season with Justin Fields as the quarterback and with other thoughts in mind as well on how the New York Jets are going to go about this season. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here. And guys, if you're not subscribed to Jets Digest and you're part of that 70%, what are you doing, man? This is the place to be for all New York Jets content. You don't want to miss out on all the great videos that we have. But let's jump into the video. There is a lot to discuss as the New York Jets made a very, very controversial decision today as they were part of the group that, well, Matt, they decided that all these people and the Tush Push rules, the New York Jets were one of 10 teams that decided that the Tush Push should stay. As 10 teams who voted against banning the Tush Push are obviously the Eagles, and then the Lions, the Saints, the Jets, the Patriots, the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Browns, the Jaguars, and the Titans, with Stadium saying, interesting that the Bills, along with the Eagles, obviously, who have run the Tush Push, play more over the last 3 seasons than any of the other 30 teams, combined with an 87% success rate. Rest of the league's average is 71% success rate. Were not listed as in favor of keeping the play. Now, Matt, you need 24 votes to ban it. They got 22, as the Jets were one of the teams that decided against it. Now, when you look at this list, the Eagles were an obvious one. The Lions, they don't really surprise me very much. They have a great offensive line. The Saints, I have no input on. The Jets, though, there's a purpose for this. There is a purpose why the New York Jets is. First of all, their offensive line is young, hungry, and just overall really talented. Outside of that, I know I've brought this stat up in the last couple of videos, but Justin Fields is one of 4 guys over the last 4 seasons since he got to the NFL to rush for over 2,000 yards. So what we're seeing is the Jets get a running quarterback and decide, you know what? And the Ravens also voted to keep the Tush Push, one should add. They said, you know what? We have a rushing quarterback who's been very, very, very good at QB sneaks throughout his career. Let's go with it. Let's roll with this and keep it so we could potentially use this play, which I love. The Jets are fitting in with the modern times of football, which felt like they never did that with Robert Saleh. I mean, we briefly touched on this the last video we made, and we've talked about it before. Specifically, you've talked about it, where the Jets just didn't run a bunch of RPOs or play actions, and that's the way that modern football is leaning more, and the Jets didn't do a lot of that. So, obviously, the Jets fitting in with the modern times. It feels nice, Matt, but on top of that, interesting decision here. Clearly, it feels like they're going to try to run this at some point.
The Tush Push was not banned because no one had an actual real reason to ban it. The number one thing that we're hearing is, it's injuries, but the statistics tell us that no one actually got injured on that play. So you could turn around and say that it's actually a safer play. I mean, people have told me it's dangerous to have someone laying on people like that. But Chris, you've played football, you know, or anyone who's played football knows every single play is dangerous. When you guys are running into each other at high speeds, as athletic as these guys are, wearing helmets and pads that are as heavy as the pads are. If you haven't played football before, the helmets are heavy. They are weapons. There's a reason why people use their heads as weapons to hit other people in football, and it doesn't happen in other sports. It's because a football helmet is a weapon. So this play is not more dangerous than other plays. A couple takeaways from this. One, it's pretty funny that of the non-Philadelphia Eagles teams, so that's 9 teams other than the Eagles trying to ban it, 8 of those 9 teams were from the AFC. So they're actually not teams who just got burned by the Eagles on a run to the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl Championship. Also, you said something that I was going to bring up. The Tush Push was ran the second most by the Buffalo Bills, who are in the AFC East. And what's kind of funny is all 3 other AFC East teams were on this list: the Patriots, the Jets, and the Miami Dolphins. This tells me that the New York Jets are not just going to hide when someone comes up with a new inventive play, a new smart way to play football. I mean, this shows us that the Jets are putting forward a tough team, and they're going to deal with their problems on the field instead of off the field. This was an absolutely ridiculous proposal. Like I said before, none of the actual reasons for banning it were any good reasons. They were embarrassing. They were frankly embarrassing. The head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Mr. Sean McDermott, came out, and he was one of the main voices talking about how dangerous of a play it was. If he really thought the play was dangerous, they wouldn't be running it the second most, putting their, was it 50 something million dollar man, Josh Allen, in danger the second most time in the league. It's just, they can't believe that something is not adding up there. This is not a more dangerous play than usual. The New York Jets, like you said, this is the reason why we go out and pick up a 6'3", 230 something pound quarterback who is very difficult to tackle. We're going to run him right up the middle and hopefully convert on a high percentage of these quarterback sneaks.
I agree. I mean, the fact that the Bills are complaining about it and using it seems pretty interesting. It's really weird that they would do that. There's no real rhyme or reason to any of that. But the Jets, I agree. I think you're absolutely right. The Jets are not running from the smoke here. They're not saying, oh, but the play, there's this one problem with it. It works at the goal line. That's the problem that teams have. It works at the goal line.
Wait, one more thing I gotta quickly put in. Mm-hmm. Also, the Bills, people are talking about, oh, it's too hard to stop. The Bills season ended on a failed tush push in the middle of the field. So, like, everything the Bills specifically are saying, I'm just like, what are you guys talking about? You guys say one thing but do another. Like, make up your mind.
Well, the Bills have I get the whole pot kettle thing here, but the Bills tend to have unfortunate scenarios play out for them. Now, again, we're Jets fans. It doesn't defeat the purpose of what I'm saying, though. But look, in all seriousness, I 100% agree and love what you said, how this team's not going to run from any of the smoke at all. And yeah, they invested a good amount of money into Justin Fields. That's going to be a pretty big cap hit next season for Fields, and it's because they do believe in him. The Jets believe in him, and one thing we do know about this Jets team for sure is that Aaron Glenn, he wants a run-heavy offense. You could tell by the receivers who have been signed or brought in or are on the team in general. You could tell from the fact that he's already said this is going to be a running back by committee situation. We're going to see Breece Hall with 209 rushing attempts and 876 yards last year with 5 touchdowns. Shared touches with a guy in Braylon Allen who had 92 rushing attempts for 334 yards. Allen's going to get more this year. Not more than Breece, but he's going to get more touches this year than the prior year, very likely. On top of that, we see Isaiah Davis, who was an important part of this Jets team, getting 5.8 yards per attempt. The Jets are going to use all these guys, Matt, and they're going to run the ball a lot. And I understand that the tush push is done by a quarterback. That's not lost on me. But what I'm saying is this is a team that's going to run the ball a lot anyway. This is going to be a Jets team that these offensive linemen are going to have it drilled into them exactly what Aaron Glenn and Tanner Engstrand and the whole Jets coaching staff wants them to do on offense, how they want them to run the ball, how they want to go about it, every which way to move for all these different plays. It's going to be this run offense. Yes, we're going to see the ball get passed, of course, because it's the modern NFL. There's going to be passing, but there's going to be a whole lot of rushing, and it's going to be between 4 guys. It's going to be between Fields, Breece, Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis. We're going to see all these guys get attempts. So I think that's probably a part of this also, is the Jets are not going to do anything to hinder running football, something that we know is going to be the integral part of their game plan going into next season.
I like a lot about what you said, but you said one thing that wasn't completely correct. You said the tush push is ran by the quarterback, which most of the time you're right, but there's a wrinkle off of it. When you're on 4th down and 1 or on the goal line, they're fake snapping, doing all these things. One of the wrinkles that we've seen is sometimes the tight end will motion to under center and either fake snap or run the tush push himself. Now, think about it. What if we put Braylon Allen on the end of the line of scrimmage, motioned him in, he takes a snap from under center, and he gets pushed forwards. Now we have an even bigger player than Justin Fields being pushed, and we keep Justin Fields safe. And he still has the opportunity to fake snap, not even snap the ball at all. There are a ton of fun, creative things. Well, fun for the offense, creative things that we can run. That was one of the problems with the last couple of years under this offensive coaching staff. The offense has not been creative enough. The play calling hasn't been creative enough. And there are other wrinkles that you have to figure out if you are going to find a way to separate your team from other teams. The Philadelphia Eagles, they did it with the tush push. They went out and found a play that people weren't even thinking of, even though now going back, it just seems push the guy who is barely behind the center where the ball is snapped, right behind the line of scrimmage, push him. seems very obvious, but for some reason people didn't figure it out until now. We need to have smart guys in our offensive coaching room thinking of changes like this and just thinking about ways that we can trick defenses on 3rd down and 1, 4th down and 1 in late game scenarios. Any one little smart wrinkle can be the difference between winning or losing that football game. We need to have as many surprise plays like that as possible. I'm not going to call them trick plays because I don't like gimmicks, but I wouldn't consider motioning in a tight end and having a fake snap. I don't consider that a gimmick, but I think we need to get more creative on offense, and that I'm sure is going to happen under Tanner Engstrand this year.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how Engstrand goes about all this. I'm excited to see that Aaron Glenn is like, well, I'm a defensive head coach first, obviously, and given he said he's not really a defensive head coach first, he just coached defense, and that's a great thing to say, but he's a guy who is going to be a big part of running the defense. Obviously, Stephen Wilkes is there as well, but it is Aaron Glenn's defense at the end of the day, and this man has zero qualms about there being the tush push, and you love to see that because also that shows confidence that he feels like he could stop it, which is good to see.
I'm glad to see that our team isn't soft like 22 teams in the league.
We're not soft. And you know what? Last year's Jets team, they were kind of soft. So shout out to Aaron Glenn. You're the absolute man. I love you, Aaron Glenn. I might be 23 years old, but can you please adopt me or something? It'll make me tougher. But guys, want to know what else would make me tougher? If you guys subscribe to Jets Digest right now, and if you don't, then we're going to think that you tried to ban the Tush Push. But if you like the banning, let us know in the comments down below. If you don't like it, if you like the Jets stance on this, let us know. If you don't, let us know. And also slide into Matt's DMs and just talk to him about the Burger King French fries, because I couldn't think of anything else to say, and that came to mind. And I don't even eat Burger King. So, Matt, goodbye. Also, subscribe to Jets Digest, everyone.